Anyway, thank you, thank you again. Let's start with a little bit more serious note on the Dutch report on the MH17
Yes.
downing. What do you make of it? What do you think that it says?
Well, today's preliminary report by the Dutch Safety Board underscores everything we've been saying since the downing of MH17, and it highlights questions for which Russia still must answer. Just a couple notes about what's actually in the report. They presented factual information based on sources available to them, found that the Boeing 777-200 aircraft broke up in the air as the result of structural damage caused by a large number of high-energy objects that penetrated the aircraft from the outside. That's consistent with how these Buk missiles that we had talked about at the time operate. It's consistent with our original assessment that it was likely shot down by one of these surface-to-air missiles fired from separatist-controlled territory at eastern Ukraine. It also noted that there was no sign of mechanical problems, no sign of structural problems. The black box did not give any sense of problems before it was downed. Understand the Dutch will continue the investigation, but again, the preliminary report is consistent with what we've been saying now for many weeks.
But it doesn't come to any hard and fast definitive conclusion as to who, I realize it wasn't expected to, but it does not assess blame or responsibility for who did this, nor does it actually say that it was, in fact, does it actually say that a missile brought it down?
It does not. It says that it was caused by a large number of high-energy objects that penetrated the aircraft from the outside. Again, that's completely consistent with our assessment that it was a surface-to-air missile, and I'm unaware of other objects or ways it could be brought down that are consistent with that finding.
All right, but are you disappointed that it didn't at least confirm or come to the conclusion that it was, in fact, a missile definitively?
Not that I've heard, no. And again, this is just a preliminary report. This is another piece of information that is consistent with our assessment as well.
Okay, and what would you like to see happen going forward?
It's okay. You're not blocking anyone. With the reporter and
I think he's throwing him off his.
This is what happens when it's your birthday.
I hope they don't.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. What do we want to see with the report or the investigation or Ukraine?
Well,
or both or all of the above?
All of the above,
Okay.
but let's start with first the investigation.
Okay.
I mean, this report seems to be like the opening, it's the first official formal result of the investigation. So where does the investigation go from here?
Yep.
And then is there anything that you are expecting or want to see the Russians do in response, or the separatists or the government in Kiev to do in response to the report?
So they will continue their investigation. The Dutch will in the months to come. The Dutch Safety Board expects to publish their final report within a year of the crash, so that's the timeline we're tracking towards right now. Again, I would say that this leaves and highlights many questions that Russia must still answer about the possible involvement of its equipment, about the separatist backs, about their involvement in the events that led to the crash of this airplane. So obviously we and not just us, but more importantly the families of the victims deserve answers, and we'd like the Russian government to provide some of those answers.
Okay, you just spoke of the possible involvement of its equipment, which seems to be a little less definitive than what you guys had been saying.
I did not mean to indicate anything less definitive, Matt.
Okay.
Can I follow up on